Powered by Riverside.
And just like that, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I can't produce. My internet is better this week. It's the 4th and 1 podcast. Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. Anchor.fm 4th and 1. As always, your co-host, Admiral, you like that, a.k.a. self-nickname, a.k.a. Wanna Dwinka Wawa, sitting next to, as always, in Lidditz, we have the person, the human, if the letter grade C was a person, Captain Boring himself, and our now longtime future guest. I don't know if there's a title for you, but I'm forgetting what it is. He's the walking contradiction, a ginger with a soul. It is not CFP insider Roberto.
How long did it take you to write all that?
About 5 minutes on my walk out to the car from work.
Oh, okay. So, as always, no thought was put into it at all.
I actually wrote it down, so that's incorrect. Micaiah, today was your day off. How much of the Swamp Kings did you watch?
I just finished the 3rd episode, which may or may not have been the other reason I was late.
Yeah, well, that's the reason that I was also late, because I was in the middle of the 2nd episode.
Okay.
Micaiah, the one thing that you said is very true. When Tim Tebow's saying Urban Meyer went a little bit too far, Northwestern kids have it easy nowadays. Also, did not know this, Tim Tebow is insane.
Yeah, for sure. Tim Tebow has that dog in him, absolutely, for sure. I was hoping, and I don't know what the last episode's going to get into, I was hoping we'd get a little more nitty-gritty on, like, what was actually going on at Florida.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just kind of boilerplate stuff that I could have guessed.
They led into it, though. For those of you, and I'm going to pull it up, Robert, do you know, like, the resume of 2008 Florida team?
Yeah.
Can you list it for us? That was me setting you up.
Oh, I mean, other than the fact they were national champs, you had Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer, who is essentially becoming like a bad guy with his stint in the NFL. I mean, you have Aaron Hernandez. I don't know who else. Who else was on that team?
Riley Cooper was on that team.
Okay,
Cam Newton was on that team.
A little
Famous
racy.
racist.
Yeah.
Yep. Cam Newton was on that team.
Oh yeah.
Before he transferred,
had one good season.
Yep. Then
41 members of the 2008 Florida Gators football team have been arrested at some point.
And here's the
record.
thing. Yeah, it's a great percentage. They're batting really high. Here's the thing, though. I just got out of the episode, and Urban, talking, he's like, yeah, man, it was something every single week, and the media was just hounding me and asking me about it and wouldn't leave me alone, and acting all confused about why the media was asking him about this. And then Paul Feinbaum, because he's one of the people on Swamp Kings, Paul Feinbaum said, yeah, every coach overlooks things. Every coach has a limit, but Urban Meyer did the minimal amount to discipline kids during his tenure at Florida. And if that's coming from Paul Feinbaum, who knows all the dirty secrets of the SEC, you're a bad guy, man.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to find
Robert
more.
Would have something else.
Well, I mean, like, does that mean that we need a season 2 on what he did at Ohio State?
Oh, I would love to know all the shady stuff he did there.
We already know about him covering up the domestic violence.
Yeah, he was suspended. 2 games for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love an Ohio State Urban Meyer documentary. And then his benign brain tumor or whatever was giving him headaches all of a sudden is gone away now. Oh boy, and he runs it like a boot camp there, from what I'm getting from this documentary.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it taught the kids to be ready for everything, but then what Urban found out, especially in the 2007 year when they lost 3 games, kids check out so easily after you lose 1 game because they're like, well, then what does all of this hard work that we're going through, all of these just asinine drills you're putting us through, if they're not even going to pan out and we're going to be out of the national championship race, then I'm not going to do it, you know?
I mean, he breeds Christians and killers, man.
The names that we were looking for: Tebow, Cam Newton, Percy Harvin, Joe Haddon, Jonas.
You were right.
Jonas Jenkins, Marquise and Mike Ponce, the Ponce twins, Carlos
Pouncey
Dunlap.
twins.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Carlos Dunlaps, Brandon Spikes, Will Hill, Marcus Gilbert, and of course, the titular character, which I hope they're going to touch on eventually, Aaron Hernandez. It's very interesting. The 2008 Florida, I've been very excited since Makai told me. I thought this was going to be a 30 for 30. It is an Untold, which is
it's
Netflix.
basically this. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing.
It's 30 for 30, but for Netflix. Speaking of suspensions, it's more than 2 games. University of Michigan has put a self-imposed suspension, shocker, Makai called this, 3 games on Jim Harbaugh. Robert, can you walk me through, because I'm an idiot, why they did this? Why only 3 games? I mean, I know why. And what impact this is going to have for Michigan.
Well, I mean, in their eyes, they have to do something to not allow the NCAA to actually come down and give some sort of punishment. Because if the NCAA gives a punishment, then it just looks bad, a lot worse than just doing a self-imposed. You do 3 games because I think that's the bare minimum that you can do. And it makes sense because it's usually the 3 worst teams on your schedule are the ones that you're going to do in a suspension for. I mean, it looks good for Harbaugh. It looks good for Michigan in the eyes of the NCAA, and it looks good in the eyes of the public too, because I'm sure most of the public, if not all the public, is just kind of over it and doesn't understand why this is even an issue in the age that we're in now. And then for Michigan itself, it potentially looks for who could step in for Harbaugh. You know, you give them 3 games, not tough games, or shouldn't be tough games, but you're also kind of, can Sharon Moore, lead Michigan to 3 wins? Can Mike Hart do it? Can, who can be there when Harbaugh's not?
Robert, what are you seeing that who's going to act as head coach for those 3 games? Have you been seeing anything yet?
I mean, I've been seeing Sharon Moore.
Okay.
Which I would assume it was either going to be him or Mike Hart. I would kind of wish it was Mike Hart, just because if you want to follow the Michigan man mantra, then Mike Hart would be. But it makes sense for Sharon Moore too.
Yeah, it's just this is his first full year as 100% play caller. Last year, him and Matt Weiss, or really the 2 previous years, he's been co-offensive coordinator, one with Gaddis and then last year with Matt Weiss. And they did a fabulous job, but even I was watching the Big Ten, training camp tour, bus tour that they do, and he was saying, this is my first full year really calling the plays, being by myself, and I learned a lot last year. I've really been studying other play callers. So then to put head coaching duties on top of that, yes, it's a loaded roster. Yes, the games aren't particularly hard. I think they're favored by 35 points, East Carolina, game 1. I agree with you. Mike Hart, I think, should just alleviate some of that pressure and just let him figure out how to call plays by himself, since this is kind of the first full year they're doing that. But
that's probably exactly the reason that they're doing it, is because he's the first full-time play caller. Because if you give him 3 teams and make him do head coaching responsibilities and call plays, then the rest of your season will be a cakewalk in comparison because he only has to call plays. So he gets to work out the kinks and has additional responsibilities, which puts an amount of pressure on him.
Did anyone see what Harbaugh ended up saying to the media?
No.
Like, he said a whole bunch of boilerplate stuff, and then he said, I tell my kids and I tell my team all the time, don't be bitter, be better, on how he's going to act when he comes back from the 3-game suspension. This could be a Tom Brady situation, right? World on fire. This could be the motivating thing. Okay, fine. Like, you're going to suspend our coach. We're going to show you we don't need him. And then when he comes back, it's going to be, hey, well, you tried to get rid of him for 3 games. Now we're going to show you what we can really do.
It should be interesting, to say the least, because it is 3 games. They have UNLV. They start with Eastern Carolina, like Micaiah said. They go to UNLV, and then they finish off their cupcake schedule with Bowling Green, their neighbors to the south.
And I just think people need to be very cautious of Eastern Carolina. East Carolina is a 500 ball club. I get it in the American, and they're not at the level, but Appalachian State was also a 500 ball club in the FCS at one point, and they walked in as a 30-plus point underdog, and look what happened with that. So just cautioning everybody. It's Robert's biggest fear.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already said it's the curse of the Captain Boring.
Yeah.
For those of you keeping track, which is at least the other 2 people sitting with me, it is exactly 4 days until we have college football again, and it is 9 days until we have real college football again. Saturday the 26th includes such barn burners as number 13 Notre Dame taking on Navy in Dublin, or Jacksonville State taking on UTEMP. My personal favorite, Florida International taking on Louisiana Tech. I'm just joking. USC does take on San Jose State. That will be an okay game. It will be in Los Angeles Coliseum. It's at 8 p.m., so you'll actually be able to go to bed on time. And it's on the Pac-12 network. So there you go. I have a transition. No,
all right, go ahead.
You shut up.
Okay.
This is my transition.
All right.
With that being said, as both of you are excited, what is the one thing or multiple things this season that you are excited for? Micaiah, since you wanted to talk so much, you can go first.
Well, now I feel like I need a timeout. Now I feel like I should be on timeout, so maybe Robert should go first.
All right, Robert, you go first then.
I'm excited for the downfall of Alabama.
Oh, man.
You're calling it.
I think this is the official start of just Saban's final couple years.
Oh, and what's a downfall? How many losses?
3+.
3+. Okay, all right. Well, I am excited. You know, I'm really excited to see the Big 12 kind of pop off and really make a name for itself as one of the conferences that is going to stick around long term. I think it's more than just Oklahoma and Texas. I think TCU kind of proved that a little bit last year, but I think we're going to get a lot of flavors coming out of the Big 12 and a lot of variety as well. I'm also really excited to see the Michigan Wolverines and how they're just going to somehow trip over their own 2 feet. As per usual.
What's the likelihood that Penn State is for 2 losses or Penn State is for no losses? You made me think of tripping over your own feet, which James Franklin is famous for. So
yeah, for sure. I just think Drew Aller, first year starter, he's going to have at least 1 or 2 games because I don't think their running game is as good as everyone seems to think it is, because in the 2 games where they needed it most, Ohio State and Michigan, they couldn't run the football. Don't what me. Are you kidding?
That's an offensive line issue. You know that's the case.
Saquon Barkley couldn't run against Michigan and Ohio State.
That's what I'm talking about. So Drew Aller is at least going to have 2 games, if not more, on his schedule where he's got to be the guy. And I understand there's a lot of hype, and he's a big kid, and Roberto's liked what he's seen, but you're asking a lot for, what is he, a sophomore, a true sophomore this year, to go out and win games in 2 environments Yes, one's at home, but one's on the road in two environments where you're facing the heavyweight. You're getting punched in the face every time that they swing their right fist.
Nick Singleton is probably going to be a 1,600 yard running back this year.
There's no way.
No, I'm hearing that their O-line is reloaded and much better.
Yeah, and I've heard that the last 3 seasons.
I don't think their offensive line is going to be as good as what they were last year. But with bringing Fashanu back, I think they're going to rely so hard on the left side of that line. I think he's going to go off.
Okay, walk me through this. If it's not as good as it was last year, how is it going to be better? I know nothing from a recruiting perspective, but I can follow logic.
I just think Singleton is going to have such a better year this year, even though the line is not as good. I just think he is, like, him personally is going to have such a better year, especially when he's splitting carries with
Katron Allen.
Yes.
That's a great name.
Which yes, it is. Which is
Katron?
Robert, right where I'm going to stop you. I think Katron Allen is actually the better running back between the two. I really do.
You're wrong, but
no. Well, that's fine. You can think I'm wrong, but Katron Allen, when I watch between the two, Katron Allen's the better sees hole, hit hole. You know, he's not the let me dance around. Let me. Yeah, thanks. He's not the let me dance around and try to figure out how to get the most bang for my buck here. It's, you know what, I'm going to fall forward for 3 yards and keep us on schedule. You know, he's not the LaShawn McCoy. He's the Hassan Haskins. He will give you, he'll hit the hole hard, and he'll come out the other side for a 3-yard gain.
So you're saying Katron will hit the hole hard for those 3 yards.
Yes.
And soften up the D, and then that's when Singleton busts the 60-50, the big runs, the big gains like they did last year.
I mean, except
just
against
phrasing all
except
over
against
the
great
place.
defense. Except against a great D. Yeah.
I have a quick question for you guys.
Yeah.
As we're moving off of Penn State, I'm going to list you off.
I have a question for you as well.
Okay, well, let's start with my question.
No, mine's better. Why you have a microphone on your headphones and then you're using an actual microphone? Let's just start there.
Because this microphone sounds better than this microphone, and I left my headphones in my wife's car who's working. So I don't have I had to use these headphones. It was not as good as my question's going to be. I'm going to read you off some non-cared about games from week 1, week 0. Okay?
I did put money on one game from week 0.
Okay, which one was it?
It was Navy Notre Dame, Dame, and I put Navy plus the 20.5 or whatever it is right now.
That's probably a good pick.
I
would
saw
assume.
an interesting stat, which Navy is like 21-4 against the spread when the spread is anywhere from 16 to 21.
Huh.
So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
After the money you made people last week, let's hope that we get some more. Also, funny thing, I don't know if Robert knows this already, our uncle who works at the University of Akron, who me and Micaiah just absolutely love to shit on because they put a lot of money into their football program, and their football program sucks, says that he is taking them for under 2.5 wins in the season, which, yeah, that's about right. So, okay. My first one is Kansas versus Missouri State. It's 8 p.m. home game for Kansas. I just kind of want I don't know. These are the crappy games that I want you guys to get excited about, I guess.
Is this week 0?
This is technically Friday, September 1st, so this would fall into the week 1 category.
Okay. All right. I mean, Kansas is going to have an exciting offense. I'm interested to see what Lance Leipold can do. Year 3 now? This is year 3 now, right? Yeah. Jalen Daniels, excuse me, his quarterback was electric when he played last season, then got hurt in that TCU game, and then was never really the same. Their over-under is actually only 6.5 for total wins, and I actually bet the over today on that. So I think Kansas's offense might pop off this year.
Micaiah with his technical breakdown again. I just want to appreciate that Miami of Ohio is playing Miami, Florida, and just the absolute symmetry that is.
Who you got in that one, Robert?
I mean, that's the one where I have to take Miami, but I just know because Miami's going to go 1-0, and it's going to be, Miami football is back. Here comes the Hurricanes. Watch out for the Hurricanes. And I got to listen to that for 4 weeks, and then they play someone good, and then they just get absolutely destroyed, and then you don't hear from them.
So Miami lost their bowl game to University of
just
Alabama.
Talking.
Yep. No. Yep. So just for those, they lost it by 4. This is a pretty good This is a pretty good Redhawks team. Miami's favored by. Florida is favored by negative 17.5 points. Over under is 46.
I'd take that over. I would take the over on.
It's in Hard Rock, so it's in South Florida. Muggy.
Probably not the only thing getting hard in that stadium.
Heyo, at least it's not Hawaii, who will be playing Stanford. Don't need. Oh, fun fact for you guys. Do you know if you play Hawaii or Alaska, if you play a game in Hawaii or Alaska, you get to play 13 games?
Because they're that bad that it doesn't even matter.
It's actually for travel, for the amount of travel that you have to do or that they have to do. Hawaii also gets to play 13 games every year because of all the traveling. But yeah, they basically they're trying to incentivize people to go play in Hawaii or against Hawaii.
Hawaii doesn't play Vanderbilt week 1?
I have Stanford. Nope, they do play they play Vanderbilt week 0. That's their 13th game.
Week 0. Yeah, and that's in Vanderbilt, right?
Yep, First Bank Stadium, Nashville.
Yeah, so no, it's not going to be in First Bank Stadium in Nashville because they're doing construction to the stadium and it's nowhere close to being done. They're going to have to play in a high school stadium.
What?
Yeah.
How? I mean, I get that no one's going to show up, but there's...
Robert, is that right? Are you here in high school as well?
I thought they were still going to play it at the stadium, but it makes sense that they would have to do it. I mean, let's be real. They're going to have about as many fans show up as a high school stadium.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that would make sense because, I mean, their stadium's really nowhere close to being done.
I mean, again, this was a report I read about 10 days ago now. So it could be wrong.
Yeah,
but
I have an article here from 6 days ago, so the 16th. And they will play it amid construction. I'm guessing they threw up fake stands or like temporary stands. Sorry, not fake stands. Opener and wide of the few.
Well, I mean, again, they could throw up fake
there'll be
stands
fake fans there.
And there'll be fake fans there. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so just Vanderbilt football being Vanderbilt football. They played their spring game on the lacrosse field.
Let me just tell you.
Okay, here we go.
Stanford at Hawaii. The audacity to put this game on TV at 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
Is that really what it is?
Yes.
No one's going to watch that.
The only people who are going to watch that are the Stanford fans who live in L.A. Well, actually, probably not because they're still underwater.
Yeah, that's true. And Hawaii's on fire, so
yeah, how do you put that on TV?
No one's gonna watch that game. Even if nothing was wrong with Stanford, no one's gonna watch that game.
Is being polite. It's going on CBS Sports Network. Okay, it's not like we're talking. It's like Fox.
Like, put that on at noon for them, and make that a 5 o'clock dinner time game for us.
That would make a lot more sense.
What time is that for them? It's 11 p.m.
Oh, you're going to actually make me Google shit today.
Probably 5 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. there, yeah?
I don't know time zones after California.
I'm looking. It is 1 p.m. right there right now, so they are 6 hours behind us.
So 5.
So you were right, but no, yeah, you're absolutely right. They should put it on at 5 p.m. in that weird time slot, either that or 2 p.m., right?
Yeah.
And have it be a noon game for them.
See, what you're forgetting is that nobody watches those two teams, so they don't care.
But
But but it's week 1. So like, we kind of care.
Yes,
Week
the diehard
10?
college
No.
football fans care, but it is a Friday night game
But this is
at
how
11 p.m.
But you could get people to
watch
it.
Hawaii and Stanford.
Yes, if they put it on earlier, more people would be inclined to watch it.
I'd rather. This is why we're having this discussion. Kansas and Missouri State is a much better game than Hawaii and Stanford. I'd
that's not
much
true.
rather go see a high school football game on Friday night than watch Hawaii and Stanford. I'd much rather pee into a jar and drink that than watch Hawaii and Stanford.
You have to be awake in order to do both of those things, though. You
Yeah.
won't be awake for this game.
Neither will be any college students on the East Coast because they're going to be hammered.
All I'm saying is,
This game
Yes.
is on TV for contractual reasons. That's the only reason.
but it's going to be a much better game the entire length of a game than Kansas and Missouri State.
Yeah, and we turned off a high school football game, and it's about the same level of competitiveness last Friday.
That high school football game was amazing.
You know who ended up winning that game?
We watched the end of that game.
Langston
No, we didn't.
Hughes.
Yes, we did. It was Langston Hughes. We watched the end of the football game.
Oh, I thought I left
Horrible
before
ending,
the end.
by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Pass interference in the end zone. Shouldn't have counted as a touchdown. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's high school referees. High school referees look like they're all just.
Wow, you
I don't
trying
know
to come
how
up
to
with a burn there?
I don't know how to finish that sentence, but
High school referees look like they want to say actually to everybody that they see. And
high school referees look like high school referees, and
high
everyone knows
school
what I'm talking
referees
about.
looks like they told the kids just have fun out there before at the coin toss.
But also, Stanford at Hawaii, that time slot there is the proof. Like, that is the driving factor of why that conference failed.
I will pay you both $20 if you stay up and watch that entire game.
I will stay up and watch that now. Listen,
$20 is $20, brother.
it's not worth the 3 a.m. to me because then I got to be up 6 hours later to watch game day and a full slate of
Exactly.
week 1 action. I'm just not doing it. Put it on at 5 p.m.
We might as well just go all 24 hours at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's a Sunday. There's a Northwestern, Rutgers, Oregon State, San Jose, and LSU, Florida State the Sunday as well. And the Rutgers Northwestern kicks off at 12.
Well, okay. Which one are you more excited about? Which one, Robert? Which one, if they were on at the exact same time, are you more excited? Would you be more excited about Vanderbilt, Hawaii, or Stanford, Hawaii? Stanford, Hawaii, Rutgers, Northwestern. Who are you
Stanford,
taking?
Hawaii.
That's
Stanford,
what I'm
Hawaii.
saying.
See, okay, I would be interested in Northwestern for about the first 15 minutes of the game, not of the quarter. And then I would want to go watch Stanford and Hawaii, to be fair, because I just want to see Northwestern get absolutely demoralized by a bunch of New Jersey guys who weren't good enough to get on Penn State, and then basically go watch an actual competitive game.
Here's a great question for you, for the group, the panel. If you're a Big Ten team and you lose to Northwestern this season, right? Should you just stop playing football?
It's close.
Hold on. Does Michigan play Northwestern this year?
They don't. I know this.
Okay.
They do not play.
Okay.
Because, yes, that would be the game that Michigan drops
would
this
be the
year.
one. Yeah, because it would just.
They'd beat Penn State. They'd beat Ohio State. They would drop
romp 'em.
Northwestern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be pretty for Northwestern this season. If they get 3 wins, it is quite a successful season in my book.
Are you guys, if UTSA is as good as they were last year, are you going to watch any games?
I
can
think
find
that
them. Yeah.
I think that Tennessee game, especially they're in the American this year, right?
Yep.
I think that Tennessee UTSA game is going to be fireworks because neither team really played defense, and they're both that air raid power run system.
Yeah.
I think that's fireworks.
That Andy Reid system, basically.
So, will it? Because that game is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be the fireworks that you expect, or it's going to turn into the App State Texas A&M game last year,
Oh,
where you because you expected both teams to really come out and just sling the rock and put up these points.
yeah.
But it was just kind of like a grudge match back and forth where both teams really just couldn't get anything going, and it became a defensive stalemate until the end.
I just think that both Tennessee and UTSA has that sixth-year senior at quarterback, and then Tennessee, Josh Heupel's system right now will always get you 24 points a game, I think, at this point, even in the SEC. I mean, you're right. It could go either way. I just don't know how either team isn't scoring a minimum 35 points.
Fun fact for UTSA, though.
Yeah.
Outside linebacker number 38, Pig Cage, will be running around.
There it is. There it is.
Wait, is his first name Pig and his last name Cage?
Yes, Pig Cage.
Is he from Mississippi?
Well, I gotta look
Or
that up
West
now.
Virginia? Do I need to Google this?
Louisiana, to be exact.
Ah, the Cajuns. Yes, I always forget about those rednecks. Yeah, they start off. Their Army game is on ESPN at 7 p.m. The Houston game's on FS1 at 7 p.m. They play Texas State in the middle of those, and then they'll go to Tennessee week 4. So
I think the American is getting more and more quality time slots and putting quality games in those time slots. So I think that UTSA will be one of their brand ambassadors, quote unquote, where they will want to put them front and center just because of how potentially good that they are.
they need a costume makeover. I like the colors we're working with here. The orange and dark blue Roadrunner, awesome, great. They definitely need to do some sort of anvil, meep sort of thing, lean into it a little bit. But the unis could be much more fire than they are currently. Just me?
Well, I think that will come with them being in the new conference and as they go.
The more money
Yeah.
that comes into play.
However, you do need to have Wile E. Coyote with a Tennessee shirt on and have him running into... That would be... Yes. I could
See?
get on board with that.
Pig Kate. I can't believe... Literally the second Google drop-down is real name.
I mean, I don't hate him. What do you not like about him, Saman?
They're good. They're just not fire. And I feel like for how good UTSA is, first of all, that helmet needs to be MAC.
Well, what
matte.
about these? Little
Okay,
chrome.
but that I'm thinking Tennessee when I see that. That's the issue.
Okay,
If they
well,
came out with
it's-
a darker gray like that, though. Like how Tennessee came out with their dark gray.
Yeah, I like the helmet. If I could get that in blue, then we're talking.
You mean like this one?
That's not
That's a
chrome.
glo-
That's not
that's
a
a
chrome
gloss
blue.
helmet.
That's a gloss
my
helmet.
gosh, we have uniform snobs over
Yes,
here.
you do.
What if they had like a mirror helmet, though?
Oh, well, that's basically what the chrome one was.
Yeah, but chrome is chrome. Mirror is not chrome.
I kind of like the white one with the the state of Texas outline.
Oh, I didn't
that
see
one's
that.
not bad.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah. For those of you who are just listening to us, if you go to our YouTube, I am currently showing people everything. So just, stop
We're talking
on there and then...
we're talking about fashion like men do.
Yeah.
Sports uniforms. Who has the best classic uniform? So we're talking like the Michigans, the Ohio States, those types of teams.
Well, there's a difference between uniform and helmets, or are you doing a combo like it all we need to all take it into account.
I think you need to take it all into consideration because, like, Michigan's helmets, definitely, no questions asked, the most iconic. But also, their unis have kind of sucked until Harbaugh got here and they got the Jordan brand involved. And now they lightened the shade of blue. They golded up the maize a little bit more. And now they look crisp, clean, and awesome.
Well, now they'll also like wear different combinations of stuff. It used to be for away games, they wear one thing. For home, they wear another thing. I'm like, have some creativity. You're not going to get any 18-year-olds when you're wearing the same thing every single day.
We're Googling.
There.
We Googled. All right, so like Alabama, Penn State. Let's do this. Let us do this tournament style.
Okay.
Alabama versus Penn State. Who you guys picking?
Penn State.
Yeah, I would say Penn State.
I actually really like their just all plain helmets with the white stripe.
Yeah,
I think it's very plain. It's very nice.
Pretty sick. Stanford versus Iowa.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I would go Iowa. Because I feel like red and white is very overdone.
Yeah. I'll do Iowa. They're both very plain and bland and basic, but yeah, I'll do Iowa as well.
The Peyton Manning Tennessee orange with the white helmet.
Yeah.
Versus Texas A&M.
It's called the Power T, by the way, and I will take Texas A&M, that maroon and white.
I
probably would have taken Tennessee.
Yeah, I would take Tennessee on that one too.
Okay, well, you guys just suck.
Well, I mean, what else is new? I'm totally just using North Carolina. See, no, they've changed their uniform too much. I don't think North Carolina counts as classic anymore.
All right.
However, USC still does. USC, Florida. And Florida's right on the border.
I like USC if I had to choose between the throw or the two.
I would probably go Florida just because I don't like the mustard yellow that they do.
Okay.
Well, Robert's wrong per usual, and we're moving on.
What about Northwestern and Nebraska?
See, Northwestern also has come out more recently trying to spice up their uniform because nothing else about them is good. Now, Nebraska is a great example.
Dude, we're just taking giant dumps on all of these teams that are at the bottom of Power 5, man. I do.
I would go Nebraska on that, though. Nebraska's is very iconic. Just the end.
But Nebraska's red and white isn't overdone? I'm sorry, Nebraska's red and white isn't overdone?
It's different.
It is different.
It's not.
Less busy than the Georgia Bulldog.
Hold on, though. Because you're going to go and you're going to say, go Stanford. Stanford Cardinals, but yet we use a tree, a Christmas tree as their mascot.
When did they? I thought we were doing uniforms.
It doesn't matter. He's right. Any argument counts here.
Of course he's right.
Supposed to be a really smart school, but that's what we settle on.
You're 100%.
It's like calling yourself a It's like calling yourself a hoagie or a Hokie or whatever the F Indiana and people from Blacksburg call themselves.
Okay. Well,
also, they need
Indiana's
to change the name.
Hoosier.
Yeah, that shit. Also, they need to change the name of Blacksburg because it just sounds racist.
Well,
Blacksburg, Virginia? Come on, guys.
It reminds me of pirates. They should have been the pirates from Blacksburg.
That would be better. It would make sense than their weird-ass maroon, orange, and whatever other color they decide to throw in there.
Who has the worst uniforms? Is it Syracuse?
Does Eastern Washington count when they had the red and gray striped field?
I actually kind of like that. A little unique.
Also, I like where Syracuse is going.
So, I kind of don't like Boise State because it's like almost too much blue. Because they wear like that all blue, but it's a single tone of blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you know
that?
Do you know that they have a copyright on colored football fields?
Boise State?
Yeah.
Oh. I think
so. You have
told
to
me
get
that.
permission from Boise State in order to put a colored college football field in.
So you would really go Boise State worst uniforms in college football. You'd really stamp your not CFP insider Roberto on that. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
there is this lovely.
Okay, that's from 2002, though.
I mean, even in 2002, this was trash. It doesn't matter.
Again, for our listeners, we are.
We're
Simeon
looking at the 2002 home uniform for Iowa State. There is also. Oh, it wasn't even showing that one. That's not an abomination. I thought I saw another abomination. Oh yeah, it was over here. It was. Dear Lord, I can't scroll to save my life. This is a weird one. This Florida one that is an actual like gator skin.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that.
Well, do you remember when Oregon did the one where they kind of it was like a duck?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
That one was.
Oh, that's the Red Raiders.
Yeah, they're alternate. I actually kind of like this. Besides the never quit on the back of the thing
and the pants. Like, what are we doing there with the pants?
It does show off their butts. You are correct about that. Also, why are we hating on this uniform?
I don't know why people hate on Maryland. I really don't. I like Maryland's helmets and the flag on the side.
It's so stupid, it's beautiful. That's how Maryland. Maryland. It's so stupid, it's beautiful. That is their state motto.
That uniform right there, not the Maryland one. That Connecticut one in the back.
Yeah.
The one that looks like a homeschool football team. Put together.
Wyoming with that mustard yellow color. Wyoming is pretty disgusting as well. Is that the duck one you're talking about?
No.
That's a classic. That's a classic Oregon. They did their highlighter green is way worse.
And how's that one of the worst college football uniforms? That's bad. Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Watch them come out week 1.
Doesn't surprise me though. Colorado.
It's Colorado. And I don't mind that. I mean, yeah, it's not really school colors, but I don't mind that for Florida.
I think I would have preferred like the top being the same and then like the bottom being like orange or something that says Florida, not something that makes you look like you're in Joe Exotic's living room, you know?
Stop it.
Go ahead and look up the Oregon duck uniform one.
Uniform.
Yeah.
Oregon.
I was also never a big fan of when Oregon did pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Never a big fan of that. The pink.
Well, I think that's because they went like pink and black is what they went with.
Yeah.
Or I think if they went like at least pink and neon, it would have been
like yellow. This one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's just odd.
Yeah. I mean,
I like the helmet. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the helmet.
Looks good.
The helmet looks good.
I remember seeing this and being like, "Oh, this is gonna be sick," and then I like turned on the game and it wasn't. This is trash.
One person looks good with it. When you put 11 people and they're all kind of moving around, it just doesn't look good.
Let me see if I can find. That's the wrong one. I need images. There really isn't any game.
See, wait. Scroll down. Don't scroll down just a little bit. This is, that's what I'm talking about. Or if you scroll down, it's lined up against people. Keep scrolling. I saw it down here. Yeah, right there with the bright pink helmets. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that for Oregon.
For as many hits as they have, like this slick white one away, have some pretty bad misses. I will say that.
That yellow one with the black, they're on the right side of the screen. Yeah, not a fan of that one either.
This one?
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Highlighter yellow. They really like their highlighter. Did they not wear this in a game?
No, they did.
They definitely did.
I don't remember who they did.
It says Colorado here. of 2016. Okay. I'll find it later and see how it looks stupid in person. Is there one non-Big Ten game that you guys are excited for?
When in general or week one?
Yes, this year.
I mean, where do you start?
I mean, I really am. I'm excited to see.
That's why I'm
excited.
you guys.
I'm excited to see what TCU looks like after they're coming off against Colorado. Robert's looking forward to that beatdown. I'm really looking forward to Utah, Florida. I think Florida's being extremely underrated this year. They have them at 5.5 wins, FanDuel. I bet that over really hard today. I think they're at least a bowl team. They're no worse, and Billy Napier knows how to get kids and motivate kids, and he's a winner.
I told you why that is, though.
Because he's from Louisiana?
No, because of Graham Mertz.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And I don't know how Graham Mertz keeps getting starting football.
It looked like carrots. That's what it was.
That is...
See, it's too much. It's just too much.
It is too much.
We're back on the Oregon Duck thing. They look like upside down... No, they look like right side up carrots with some white in the middle there.
Well, and then click on the picture of them. It's a lot of white as well. When they play a team in white, that's just a lot of...
this is Colorado. This was an upset win for Colorado, mind you, too. So, hey... have it in the past. We'll see if they can do it again in the future.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to TCU, Colorado, week 1. I'm really looking forward to Utah, Florida. Me and NICFP insider Roberto, we haven't sleep over that day, so I'm looking forward to that. And then, again, I hate to say this, any big-time SEC matchup, you just know you're going to get a great game.
No one cares!
Okay, well... that's just rude.
Any SEC matchup. Should we look at... I give you...
Big-time SEC matchup.
Okay. But when is an SEC East team versus an SEC East team not a big-time matchup?
When it's Vanderbilt and Florida.
You can't pick the one bad SEC East team and say that. These are the mother effers who decide, playing in a half-put-together stadium is a good idea. This is supposed to be a good engineering school. No. The Vanderbilts aren't even from Nashville. They just set up because they had too much money. I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid.
You're not wrong.
Do you want to look at the week 0 games?
We can. I'm also excited for A&M Miami. I know that's not SEC, but A&M Miami.
6?
I think that's week 2
or week 5. Oh, okay. Was it the week that Jimbo Fisher will be fired? Is really the question that I was asking.
No, that comes down the road. That comes after the Tennessee game.
I think Florida State LSU.
Florida State LSU week 1.
That's gonna be.
That's a Sunday evening game too.
And typically the Sunday evening games are, for the college football opening weekend on Labor Day, are some of the best games. I mean, Texas, Notre Dame a few years ago, Texas, Notre Dame again.
Clemson's playing Duke the next day.
Last year you had LSU, Florida State again, and that was a great game.
So the first leg of their home and home?
Well, it's at
also,
neutral site, but in their home state.
How dumb is the term home and home? I mean, there's not really a better term for it, but, that doesn't describe anything of what it is.
Well,
you both get a home game.
Yeah, that's...
against each other.
Yeah.
Well, duh. If you're splitting games, that's what you're going to do. Is it just a home squared if you somehow get them to be away both times?
It's home schooled if you get 2 nerds and a third public schooler to run a podcast.
Yeah, really is.
I mean, you could call it a split series.
That makes more sense to me.
Now we're just splitting hairs.
Yeah, well, Micaiah Roberts actually doing a good job of being on a podcast, unlike you.
What have I done wrong today?
North Carolina, South Carolina, week 1? Is that?
Yes, I mean, that'll be a great game since I'm contributing nothing to the podcast.
Houston,
today.
UTSA?
No, get out of here with that.
Oh, James Madison, Bucknell? We could go see that game at either stadium.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay, so what is the worst game here for Saturday, August 26th?
Okay.
Okay, there are exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games total.
Yep.
And I'm interested to hear your absolute hottest takes here.
Okay.
Number 10 will surprise you. We have Navy at Notre Dame in Ireland.
That's not
UTEP
it.
at Jacksonville. Wait till the end.
Okay.
UTEP
All right.
at Jacksonville State. UMass at New Mexico State. Ohio at San Diego State. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. We already covered that one. San Jose State at USC. And Florida International at La Tech.
It's got to be the like the third one you said.
UMass, New Mexico State.
That's it. Right
from
there.
pure suckage.
Yeah.
Is that the reason?
Oh, from pure suckage. Yeah, absolutely.
Is Don Brown still even their head coach?
Yes.
Yikes. Robert.
Well, there actually is one more game on Saturday. It's South Carolina State, Jackson State.
Stop it.
So, I mean...
That's technically FCS. We're talking FBS here.
I'm just saying, I mean, that could be...
But they're getting a
Could be
primetime
okay.
ESPN slot.
Yeah,
So,
'cause
Robert...
they're black schools. Spoiler alert, guys. ESPN is political.
The worst game is probably going to be Florida International, Louisiana Tech. Yeah.
Honestly, that Jackson State, South Carolina State, those are
That-
actually two okay teams. I have
that
no idea
could
how the
be
Jackson
pretty
State team
good.
is. It could
But
actually be a
their
pretty
whole-
good FCS game.
Their whole team plays for Colorado, though.
Yeah, they had their
so
whole team transfer.
Lord knows how that's actually going to go.
I honestly think it's Notre Dame Navy because no way does a win for either team look does a win or a loss look good for Notre Dame in this game, and it comes very we are literally one stone of concrete away from Vanderbilt Hawaii being the worst game this weekend. You know, if they just put that little bit more effort into actually having a stadium, it might have actually gotten somewhere. But this is what Notre Dame does. They go away. Micaiah, you're 100% accurate. What's the spread on that game again?
20.5.
It's 20.5, which means if Navy gets the spread, which they're probably going to do, as you said, it is a disappointment for Notre Dame. The only way Notre Dame wins this, is if they blow them out by 45 points. If it's not a game since the first quarter, and it's a neutral site in the middle of the day, it's in Dublin, it's not going to happen. So if Notre Dame loses, they lose. They're ranked 13th. They won't be ranked the next week if they lose against Navy. If they win by the spread, without the spread, they lose because they should have beat them by more. And even if they lose without the spread, they have to beat them doubling the spread in order for it to make sense. So it's the worst game for that fact.
That is an extremely hot take. That is very well done. I'm going to clap for you because that was very well done, and you're not wrong either.
That was off the dome, too.
That was very well done, sir. Great job. Yeah, you're 100% correct. I got nothing more to say because I don't want to ruin that, whatever that was.
They're also in Ireland. Is that a W or an L? Playing in Ireland.
It depends. Do you like to drink?
Well, who doesn't?
Do you like the
There are
Irish?
some people. Tim Tebow?
Alcoholics.
No, alcoholics do like to drink.
Yeah, but they shouldn't. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it is a L playing in Dublin.
Okay. So, Robert, why is Florida International Louisiana Tech the worst game of the weekend?
It's at 9 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
It's Florida International, Louisiana
You need
Tech.
to step away. It's super hot take, dude. I'm
you know-
burning up.
Listen, when I look and I see that I can get a ticket for that game for $14,
Oh, there it is.
but
I'd
Hawaii and
rather have,
Vanderbilt is also $7.
yeah, I would rather
I mean-
have the $7 Vanderbilt Hawaii game.
So I mean, I guess
You know the seats are going to be good because there aren't any.
I know, but would you rather? No, because if I'm going to spend $14, I'm not going to sit in Louisiana. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, and it's the backwoods Louisiana,
And
too.
if I'm going
It's
to
not
watch two
it's...
garbage teams, I would
Yeah.
at least want to spend $7 to watch Vanderbilt and Hawaii because it's going to be cooler.
And then you're in Nashville, too.
Right.
And for UMass New Mexico State, tickets are
Somehow
only
$21.
Yeah, somehow $21. I don't even know how. These were two of the worst teams in the FBS last year. That's why this game's going to be really bad. UMass might only win like 2 games this year, and New Mexico State might only win 3. Okay? So I have no idea how tickets are $21. Where is this even? This is in New Mexico. Who lives in New Mexico that goes to college football games?
Native Americans. I always love doing this because you never know what to say. And I honestly have no idea. How big is... It's in Albuquerque, right?
No, it's in Las
Cruz?
Las Cruz. Yeah.
Cruz? Las Cruz?
Cruces.
Las Cruz. New Mexico.
Game time weather is going to be 94 degrees.
And it's a dry heat. So, Las Cruz is, how far is it from
I did misspeak. I was thinking of New Mexico. New Mexico State actually was pretty good last year.
Oh! And New Mexico...
They won 4 out of their 5 last year, including beating Liberty and Bowling Green.
And New Mexico is in Albuquerque. New Mexico State is in Las Cruz, which is 50 minutes away from El Paso. So here's the real question. Would you rather go see a New Mexico State game or a UTEP game who also plays that day? Not in El Paso, unfortunately, because that would be awesome. They're in Alabama.
Where in Alabama?
Mexico, then.
Jacksonville, Alabama. They're taking on Jacksonville State.
Yeah, again, no one in New Mexico goes to football games, so I'm going to Alabama.
Would we like to place a nice little wager on the fact? This is, okay. Who do we think is going to have the lowest attendance on these 3 games? The UTEP Jacksonville State game, which is in Jacksonville, Alabama. Jacksonville State is HBCU, I believe. Are they not? Someone correct me.
I don't think so. I don't think so anymore.
You either are or you aren't. That's a binary input.
Sorry. Yes. No. I was thinking of FCS.
They're the Gamecocks, too, so... Yes, they're an FC... they are an FBS team, but
they
are
are
in the Ohio...
now. They are
in
now.
the Ohio... Oh, they're in CUSA. They just bumped up from last year. They were in the ASUN conference last year. I don't know if they're an HBCU or not. Okay. So, who's going to have the worst attendance to round out the podcast? Jacksonville State UTEP, Hawaii Vanderbilt, or Florida International La Tech?
Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
And should we put a... You think it's a Jacksonville... I honestly think it's actually going to be the Hawaii Vanderbilt game.
I don't think so. I think that they'll have, because they are 2 Power 5 schools and it's SEC football, the limited capacity that stadium
They
will
have
allow.
23,000 seats.
Available?
Yes.
Okay,
Record?
I think it will be 23,000 full.
I just want to look here. Nashville. You think they're going to sell out the stadium?
Yeah, week 1. Sure, they're not bad in week 1 or week 0, whatever this is.
So Nashville FC, they play in a soccer-specific stadium called Geodis Park.
Okay.
It has a larger capacity of 30,000 than a college football game with an SEC school and a team called the Rainbow Warriors are going to be playing on Saturday. So soccer in America will sell more tickets on Saturday than an SEC football team. Title of the podcast. Even if they sell out.
Yeah,
neither of you have a comment for that?
Games. I feel like that's pretty
Say
normal
that
for
again?
Vanderbilt, though.
Where does Vanderbilt normally play?
At First Bank Stadium, where whatever you said the
average.
Yeah, that is where they normally play. Listen, I still think that they will have at least 20,000 fans there. I don't think anyone's showing up to Jacksonville State. I really don't think anyone's showing up to UMass, New Mexico State, in the middle of New Mexico, in a town we can't pronounce. At least people in Louisiana and Florida, wherever that game is, will come out because the weather at least will be nice.
For the 2014, which is about the same. Oh, it was even. I think it was even worse last year, or 2021. 2014, they had 34,000 was their average.
Yeah, so
Vanderbilt averaged in 2021 23,000.
Okay, yeah. So their stadium size.
No, their current stadium. Their stadium size is 3 times that. When it's actually, built.
Right. So 23,000, there'll still be more than the other 2 games that you mentioned.
I am pressing X for doubt on that one. Just say. Robert, what do you think? You just seem to be enjoying me and Micaiah bickering at each other.
I mean, I could see the Vanderbilt game having less fans just because they're also playing at high school, or like they're playing at a smaller stadium, essentially.
There are larger high school stadiums in... I don't understand how you don't think this is so disrespectful. Micaiah, not you, Robert. I don't understand how you do not think this is disrespectful, stupid, dumb, anything for an SEC school. I don't care if you're Vanderbilt, to go into a stadium with 23,000. There are bigger high school fields in Texas, and any one of the soccer games that will be played that weekend in the Major League Soccer will have a higher attendance than an SEC football game.
They're a baseball school. What do you want?
Well, so my thing isn't so much with Vanderbilt; it's just the fact that it's Hawaii.
Like, I agree with Robert. I don't think they're going to get that many people.
Horrible.
Correct. Okay, Hawaii isn't bringing visiting fans. Well, what I'm saying is the other 2 games he gave will have a combination of a good combination of visiting and home fans. Will still have less people than a Vanderbilt school that is really bad at football of late.
You're going to actually make me look this
No, I'm not going to make you look anything up. Next week's podcast, let's everyone remember. Everyone comment down below right now. Comment down below on YouTube if you're watching this. If not, then send us a DM, 4th and 1 Podcast, Instagram, etc., etc., etc. You've been here before. Figure it out. Which game is going to have the most fans? Simeon, list them again.
So it is UTEMP at Jacksonville State in Jacksonville, Alabama. Hawaii at Vanderbilt at a third capacity First Bank Stadium in Nashville.
Don't give them details. They don't need them.
And Florida International at Louisiana Tech.
All right. So everyone comment down below right now. Which one's going to have the lowest capacity? Next week's pod, we're going to see. And then everyone, you two especially, will be like, we bowing down. You'll be doing this bowing down thing. We're sorry, Lord Micaiah, for doubting you. You are no longer boring. You are always right. Thank you for being right and gracing us with your college football knowledge and presence.
If you are wrong, you will be now fourth known as Captain Imbecile.
No.
And we will go on from there.
There's no way I'm going to be wrong, but that's okay.
With that news, we're getting out of here. We got to go drink whiskey, eat ice cream, and nap. Get prepared for college football.
Wash your hands, you filthy animal. See you later.
4 days, ladies and gentlemen. 4 days.